Hello dirt movers, James here again with Dunsmore Moving Dirt. This is just a little bit following the video yesterday. This is the next day, and so far we have 3/4 of an inch. Had to clean out the rain gauge because it was full of cobwebs, dust and everything, so we may have a little bit more than that because I dumped it out yesterday after we made the video, because I didn't know how much was in there. It had about a 1/2 inch, so we probably got a little over an inch. But I looked at the tank a while ago, the pond down there, and it had come up about 1 inch, so we hadn't had no runoff water. That was just what fell in it, so that's about right. So they say it's still coming, maybe later on the night and tomorrow, but we're thankful for whatever we got, and pray that there's more so we can run some water and fill up some of these stock ponds that are all empty all around 3 or 4 counties here. So anyway, I'll keep y'all updated on the rain and what it's doing, so y'all have a blessed day. Bye. Good morning dirt movers, welcome to Dunsmore Moving Dirt. Well, we finally got a little bit of rain. This looks pretty good. Got water standing everywhere. It's cloudy and overcast, and I think the weather man said it's just about over, but we know who makes the rain and who sends the rain. And I was going to walk down to the tank, and I'll admit I done been down there once, but I'm going to take y'all down there this time. And this little ditch here is what feeds the tank, and there's a little bit running in. We'll see how much water's in the tank. Last night when I finally give up on the rain, we just had 3/4 of an inch, and showed you a picture of the rain gauge earlier, what it had in it. And I kept looking at the radar last night, and it was finally about midnight, and I fell asleep and figured that was all we was going to get, and was thankful for that. Don't get me wrong, we was blessed with 3/4 of an inch, but they started off saying we was going to get 4 to 6 inches and maybe more than that, and floods and everything. So seems like sometimes when you give up hope and you give up knowing what could happen, that's when the good Lord steps in and says, I got this. And so he blesses you. So, and he has. So this morning we just got almost 3 inches in the rain gauge as of last night, between midnight and when I got up this morning. It was raining quite a bit. No thunderstorms, no crackling or nothing like that. It was just a steady rain, and this ditch was running a little bit more, I think, earlier, but as you can see, it's running down. And the bullfrogs was up here a while ago, and it caught quite a bit of water, the pond did, last night, and it's still kind of running in there. And this is not all of it. I think we still got a shot later this week toward the weekend with thunderstorms. So as you can see, quite a bit got in it. Can't see the barrel, can't see the top of the sucker rod, so that's a good thing, and that's a lot of water, and that'll last a long time right there, because I think it is going to start getting cooler and get out of the 110s and 111s back to kind of what our normal temperature is, if anything's normal here in Texas for very long. So and like I say, they say we still got shots of some rain, so things is looking up anyway. It looked pretty dreary until it started raining yesterday, that we was in the middle of a big drought again. So this may not been the drought breaker, but it's got us headed in the right direction anyway. So that's quite a bit of water, and I can't see my block that was across there. It's above it, and it's starting to fill up the new part over here. Now everything will come up to at the same time, and you won't ever see that block again unless the tank gets as low as it was, and hope it don't do that for a while yet anyway. So I still think there's fish in there, because I never seen any floating to the top, and I know there's a ton of bullfrogs and turtles in there. I mean, them frogs just got where they almost tame. They just sit there and watch you, and I was threatening to get a few of them and have them as the frog legs, but that's still a possibility. So I imagine they're enjoying the water too. Don't look like we had too much washing. I think some of the redneck material right there kind of helped that a little bit, slow the erosion down till I get some grass growing on this thing. So it's still warm enough. I throwed quite a bit of Bermuda grass seed out and some winter peas and everything else, anything that'll come up and grow. I thought I had some ryegrass and I didn't, so I might have to go get some and next rain throw it out. But you can see there's all kinds of seed laying on top of the ground, and them rocks kind of did what I wanted it to do. It kind of stopped some of the silt and the water run in between the rocks. This isn't where all the water comes from for the tank. This is just what catches in this little bowl here and goes down through there. But there's enough if it rains hard that it could start washing a little bit. And since I am in the business to control erosion, I better stop it here too on my place instead of everybody else's also. So that's some of them big willow trees that I dug out, and just look at the massive root ball on them. Them things have got to drink a lot of water. So, and I've got some more that's coming up, and I'm probably going to get rid of them, do something. I mean, I'd rather have a nicer tree than a willow tree there beside the water, drinking all the water. So this was where I put a lot of the dirt the first time I dug it out. I had a hole back here and I filled it in and sloped all that back, and I tried to save all the grass that I could to put on top of it. But this got the least amount of grass. Now this was starting to grow pretty good just from what showers we had. This is some dirt I put when I dug some of that out, and it's got some Bermuda grass, and it's still warming up. Now that's what's kind of take off. I throw a little fertilizer on it and give it some fertilizer. It might still grow before we get a frost now. So, but anyway, the tank looks a whole lot better than it did 2 days ago. Like I say, I was getting worried that it was fixing to go all the way down and the fish would have went with it, but I'd have tried to save what I could. So anyway, these two willow trees, that willow tree I might try to get rid of because it's starting to get a pretty good root base on it. That one's a pretty little one. And over there's some bur oak trees that I planted. I started them from acorns, and I found that's the last ones I had. It took a while to get them where I could sit them out, and then once you sit them out, it takes about a year for them to take hold. And this is one here, but it just catches all kinds of heck up here on top of this little old mound of dirt. All of this dirt here, then that ridge there was dirt that come out of this hole, other than what I hauled and put up underneath the house to raise that up. So there's quite a bit of dirt here, and I try to keep it sloped down where I can keep it mowing and stuff. This little old bur oak, it just almost died on me. I hauled some water up here, and it looked like the grasshoppers kind of worked on it and everything. Of course, the mesquite tree that's growing beside it, it's not hurting none, which they don't. So but anyway, and when the water went down, I seen this hole over here in this bank, and I couldn't ever figure out what it was, and until I got close to it one day, and that thing was plumb full of bullfrogs. I guess that's where they get in the winter time and everything, and den up. I didn't know bullfrogs denned up. I thought they just kind of stayed down in the mud where it was nice and warm, but that's a pretty good hole there. And the bullfrogs ain't as easy to see now since it's got water in it. They was running out of places to hide, but I don't think there's none in there. If there is, they may come out in a minute. No, I don't see any, but that thing can get plumb full of bullfrogs. This willow tree, I need to get rid of it. I guess it's gonna start drinking water. This all used to be, all this land here used to belong to an orthodontist, and my wife worked for him. They was selling both sides of this and plots and everything, and this was a 6 2/3 acre plot, and we split it with her sister and stuff, and we took this half and they took that half, and they sold their part. But this is what happens usually when you have a field that you quit farming and it's next to mesquite trees. It just turns to solid mesquite trees, and there wasn't a mesquite tree out here when we bought it. Of course, it was just an old field, and I'd plowed it up a little bit and stuff and kept it mowed, but once you quit mowing it, it just turns to mesquite trees. And anyway, when we built the road, the landowner that owned all this got us to build the road across here and then on the other side of the creek. And I remember before we built the road, we cut all the grass and stuff off, and we come in here on this lot and filled all this back in back here. Of course, that was before I decided to dig a tank and everything, which made it higher back here. So when I got ready to build a tank, all my water run toward the road. Well, I didn't want a tank up there by the house or nothing. I wanted it back here, but I had to get the water back here. So you might say I made water run uphill, which the water in the ditch didn't run uphill, but the ground was uphill. So what I did, I come in here and just graded me a ditch. From that ditch runs about 50-60 foot past the fence, and then it breaks toward the grade breaks toward the bar ditch. So everything off of this gravel yard, everything off the house, it all comes to this ditch, and then it comes into the tank. Well, then the tank fills up, and then when it does, it starts backing up this ditch until it gets to where the breaking point is, and then the grade breaks and it drains into the bar ditch. So when the tank is completely full, the tank's full and it's backed up to the ditch behind the barn, it just gets narrower and narrower. Then there's just a 5-foot spot where it starts draining 1/10 and then 2/10 going the other direction, and it keeps going to the bar ditch. So any excess goes to the bar ditch. At one time it went across here, and I blocked this off so it would back up. So it takes it a while. So even when this ditch loses water, the tank still has a lot of water in it, but it's got to slowly back up and go out the other way. But so that's how I got water to come to the tank, which was on the highest part of the land and not the lowest part. So anything can be done if you just figure it out a little bit. So anyway, we're gonna do a little work on the dozer this morning and service it up and kind of see what it rained everywhere else. I hadn't heard yet what it rained. We're supposed to go south part of Archer County from here and work on some tanks and stuff, which some of the stuff I'll do will be off now because of the rain, but if it's a new tank, just as soon as it dries up where I can get in the field and stuff, I can dig some new ponds and everything. So anyway, we were sure blessed with some rain, and just pray that we get some more later on and fill up some of these ponds completely. And our lakes where we get our drinking water are getting down. We got 2 lakes, and when they get down to like 65%, we start rationing or going to drought restrictions and stuff, and we was like at 71 before the rain. So I don't know how much they come up, so maybe they got some runoff and stuff in them anyway. So we needed the rain. No one's going to complain about that. So anyway, enjoy you watching this channel. If you hadn't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button and share this with all your friends, and welcome all your comments and questions. So till we meet again, remember, keep your blades shining, your tracks clean. Bye.